Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hilltop Pillbox here in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. It's been a while. It's been about 6 or 7 weeks, I think, since I've put a video up. And like probably everybody watching this video, life does get crazy sometimes. And yeah, just so incredibly busy to do a quality product. Tragically, last weekend, I did actually have a game of the revised edition. Had a brand new player at Axis and Allies play along with my son, and filmed the whole thing and went to upload it, and everything after turn 4 was corrupted and wouldn't work. So I thought, well, shoot, I don't want to to upload half a game. And so I didn't even bother uploading that one, of course. And just as a, if anybody's keeping score, the Allies won. But it was not a cakewalk. My son's actually very good at these games, so he actually held his own, did quite well. So today, just going to do a quick game of Axis and Allies D-Day. But before we set up all the pieces and everything, it's going to be a little bit of a tutorial as well. As you can see, this is strictly about that second week in June, from June 6th on. And there are no factories. There is no economy in this game. The Axis do not have any air power whatsoever. We have some blockhouses, which you're going to see, and then there's the abstract naval bombardment. And there's also something called order cards. And these order cards are numbered 1 through 16. And some will get removed as play goes along, as the units that they refer to get annihilated. But essentially what you do is you got a spot over here for the orders and the completed orders, but I'll just do them here in front of the camera. So you'd flip one over, and airborne assault, and that's where all of the American and British airborne troops that have been landing in these boxes here, and then there's British ones over here. They get to do their attacks. So, as we know, that happened in the wee hours of June the 6th, and were meant to disrupt communications and all that sort of thing. And then the naval bombardment happens, and you just do these all in order. You just continue to do them all in order. Fighter patrol, basically you just bring your fighters, place them into zones. I'll talk about the rules for that later. And then if there's any anti-aircraft where the fighters are, the anti-aircraft gets to shoot at the fighters before the fighters get to shoot at them. And then, of course, the bombers get to come in. And then anti-aircraft gets to shoot at the bombers. And then any surviving bombers then go back. And the Allies get to move. All right, most of their guys. You'll see that there are these beachhead boxes. So you got the Omaha beachhead box, got 6th Infantry, 2 artillery to start the game, but they don't move at this point. It's only anybody who's already on land that aren't engaged in combat can move. So if if the airborne troops are actually successful in landing unopposed, which I don't think they can be. They could then move and attack, or move anyway. The next one here is the blockhouses, and we'll see them. They go shoot out at the landing zones, and then the Allies land. That's where the beachhead boxes, the guys get to move up. Okay. Then the Allies get to attack. The Axis defends, and then the Germans get to move. And the Axis get to attack and the Allies defend. Then the Allies get to put on some reinforcements. The Germans get to put on their reinforcements. And then you move the fighters back. Alright, so it's a very structured game that way. And if you're new to the game, I'm actually not new to the game, but I still use the cards just in case. There are options that you can play. and we'll just show you these here. These are called fortune cards. Now these fortune cards are also numbered, and they're numbered 1 through 16 as well. You do not need to play with these, and I don't recommend that you do until you've played the game a few times and you feel very comfortable. What you do is you see these have a 1, so these cards here, these fortune cards, go first. So we know that the first card that we're gonna have here is the Airborne Assault. That's where you roll a die for each of the airborne boxes, and a roll of 1 is a hit. All right. Well, this card comes up first because you have it come up first before every card that it's numbered like. So this is numbered 1, and now you roll a die, and if you roll a 1, you get complete surprise. Now you're going to hit on a 2 instead of a 1. You can roll a 1 or a 2, so you basically have a 100% increase in a chance to hit. But if you roll a 6, the Axis chooses and removes 2 of your infantry in the airborne boxes, and then the remaining airborne infantry can't attack. All right. So these fortune cards, they affect every one of those different things. Every one of the command cards that you have, order cards, has a corresponding fortune card, which typically you want to roll low. If you want to roll a 1, if you roll a 2 to a 5, typically nothing happens, and if you roll a 6, something horrible happens. All right, but that can really change your game quite a bit. The other cards we have are called tactics cards. Now, tactic cards are very similar. There are 16 of them as well, but you don't have to actually do this. You can save it, but if you do use it, then you discard it. Okay. So here it's, roll a die for each airborne box. On a roll of 3 or less, that many paratroopers land there. This is a game changer. Right off the top, it's a real game changer. So, if you happen to be lucky enough to roll 3, 3, and 3 for the British, you get 9 extra infantry put on the, or not infantry, pardon me, more reinforcements, all right, and they get to go there. So when we talk about the reinforcements, you could be getting some artillery if you're British. If you're American, you're still just getting infantry, although you could get some artillery if you rolled really well. But that'd be neat to have that. That's a real game changer. So a lot of people don't like using the tactics cards until you are very familiar with the game, and you might be saying, hey, let's just spice it up. Let's see what we can do. Another interesting thing about this game, there's a couple of very interesting things. One, you'll notice that on the battle board here in the Defender, the Allies' tanks only defend at a 2, whereas the Axis tanks defend at a 3. So Axis armor punches pretty hard on defense, and so you got to keep that in mind. And sometimes it slips people's minds because we're so used to all of the other rules. The other thing is you'll notice the infantry is always attacking at a 1. It's never got a 2 here, unless one of those fortune cards helps you out. But the artillery in this game does not increase the infantry attack. Not sure why they decided to do that. It really hurts the Allies' chances of moving forward, but maybe that's what they were going for, and maybe it was too easy when the infantry and the artillery are paired up, and maybe the Allies do a lot better. So I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what happens there in this game. I'll just show you the reinforcement cards very quickly. There's some interesting notes about them. So each nation, and there's America, Britain, and then there's Germany, have reinforcement cards. And as you can see, there are some restrictions. You can see in the middle there it says Utah Beach only. So when you start your turn, you roll a couple of D6, and you add that many units. So if they roll a 5, they would end up getting 4 infantry and an artillery. All right, would get placed, but it would have to go on Utah Beach. Now, Utah Beach has already got these 4 fellows on it, all right? And as we look at the cards, I want to do these in order here. Okay, that's all the air stuff, okay? So the first time that the Allies get to actually move anybody is now. This is the first move you can do, and you cannot move land units from the beachhead boxes. You're just thinking, well, that's okay, just plop them in there. Well, the real problem is that you can only ever have 8 units in a zone, a territory of any kind. So you can only have 8 Allied units or 8 German units. So if you already have 4 in Utah Beach and you want to add some and you roll a 12, woohoo, you can still only add 4. Alright, so you can still only add 4 there. So it's pretty tough going, pretty tough slugging right off the bat, especially until the Allies can push inland. There's quite the choke point. So like I say, with the Americans, we got the Utah Beach, and then we've got Omaha Beach only, and then they kind of lighten up, and then it's any U.S. beach, any U.S. beach, any U.S. beach, and any U.S. beach. The British, on the other hand, don't have any of those restrictions. You can see any UK beach, any UK beach, any UK beach, and any UK beach. And I think the main reason for that, I mean, game playability is probably a big part of it, but also the American beaches were separated by just a place where they couldn't support each other at all. And so it's when they were dedicated to coming in, or dedicated to going into Omaha, there really wasn't a lot of chance to change your mind. Whereas the British beaches were all side by each, not a lot of natural problems between them, so they could communicate and they could shift their attacks if they needed to, which really did help especially the Canadians, push on farther than anybody else that day. Just being able to bring up what they needed to, as opposed to the disaster that Omaha was, that, you know, the horrible landing zone, and they all landed well, not all of them, many of them landed in spots they weren't ready for. And so I think that's probably why they put that rule in there, was just to give you a little bit of flavor of the assault. The Germans, on the other hand, they have some definite things they have to roll for it. So they have the western zones, Rennes or Chartres. Okay, so there are 2 for each. Rennes, Chartres. Okay, and then here we have Rouen or Chartres. All right, so Rouen, and Chartres. Now, if anybody from France is listening to me butcher the accent, I apologize, but what can you do? Haven't taken French since grade 10, I think. Mulroney was in power and Reagan was in power, so yeah, it's been a while. But as you can see, the Germans, the only restrictions they have is where they come in, but they have essentially 4 different spots each of these can come in. So the Germans can bring people in and tanks and artillery in all across the board. Yeah, they've got a lot of armor right off the bat. And then they have a bit of a dearth of armor. All right, they can go 3 or 4 turns without only seeing 1 tank, maybe 2. But if they roll really well, who knows? And then at the end of it all, they've got some pretty good armor as well. So they roll. This is one side. This is the western reinforcements, and then this is the eastern reinforcements on this side. The dividers right here. And yeah, it gets pretty nasty. So up here, I'm just going to show you the air power. There really are only 10 planes in the game. You got 4 fighters for the British and the Americans, and each have 1 bomber. When they're lost, they're lost. Gone, gone, gone. There is a rule in the book that says you can only have 4 fighters in one space at a time. We didn't really like that, because we said, why not? Why not throw all your fighters into one spot? So if I put fighters, say, here, and I want to maybe stack up 8 fighters there, everything that comes into, that's when fighters attack. Anything that goes into the zone or leave a zone that fighters are in, the fighters get to strafe them. Alright, so there's a chance that you're going to lose stuff. But the thing is, if you put all your eggs in one basket, you know, yeah, you might force the Germans to do some things that they don't want to do, but at the same point, you might hit nothing. Whereas if you put 2, 2, 2, 2, you know, you spread your guys out a bit, that can, you know, cause a little bit of, you know, they might be a little upset, but at the same point, it's hard to really hit hard. And we know the air power did hit very hard. So, you know, take it or leave it. That's a rule that you can embrace or put aside. We've played both ways. It doesn't really seem to affect the win-loss scenario. It doesn't wreck the curve. So take your pick. Last thing I'm going to point out here before I set it up and get shooting the actual game is there are 10 turns. So at the end of 10 turn, the goal of the Allies is to own Cherbourg, Saint-Lô, and Caen. And when I say own, I mean they're in there and there are no Axis troops. That's tough to do. The Axis move last, so if they can move things into a city, and when they battle they don't lose everything, that's how they can win the game. Again, you can only have 8 units of each in any zone, so you got to keep that in mind. Saint-Lô tends to be the city that gets fought over quite a bit. Cherbourg, it's too tough for the Germans to get back there and fortify, so they tend to just leave it, die on the vine. But Saint-Lô and Caen get a lot of attention, especially from the armor, so be ready for that. And remember, German armor defends at a 3. All right, I think that's pretty much it for the intro, and I'm going to set up the board, and then we'll get rolling some dice. Okay, the board is all set up and ready to go. As we said before, the silhouettes make it super easy to know where to set everything up and make sure that you got all the units properly placed. The battle boards are ready. You can see the American one here all set up. Lots of infantry and arty for the first little while. British are able to sneak in a couple of Shermans, a couple of D-Day tanks. There's the Air Forces. A little messed up right now, but the landing zones are packed full of eager young men, hoping to go storm the beaches this week and go shoot Hitler next week. That's, you know, just so eager and ready and to do something that, wow, don't know if I'd have the stones to do, but thankful I'm probably never going to have to find out. These guys did it for us, right? And here's the Germans, and boy, do they have a lot of armor. They start from the top and come down, so you can see right off the bat, armor is going to be pouring in. All right, so what we're going to do is very quickly just go through these phases. We'll do a turn here so you can see how they work. This is the airborne assault, and they're just going to attack, and everything that's a 1 is a hit. All right, so it's kind of a real quick sneak attack, and rarely yields too much, but who knows, maybe today will be different. So we've got 3 guys attacking here. These are my hit dice, by the way. The one side has a hit, the rest are blank. Nothing for that box. So we'll go to the one next to it, just to the east a little bit. Hey, we got 1 hit. All right. Now, the Germans can take 1 casualty. Now, they could take this or the blockhouse. Probably going to take the man, because the blockhouses, when they get to a fire here in a couple of rounds, a couple of turns, they get to fire at a 3, whereas this man, he only fires at a 1. So we're going to let him do that. And now we'll move over to the British landing zone here. And nothing. Alright, so that's the airborne assault, and as you can see at the bottom, you're going to remove the card from play. That's the one that gets removed, the other ones stick around. Okay, now is that abstract naval bombardment, where you get to roll 6 dice and target blockhouses only, and getting a 2 or less is a hit. So I grab my dice here that have 2 hits, and then they have 4 misses. Alright, so we want to weaken Omaha Beach, because this is not going to be fun. So we're going to try to get something from that. Hey, we got 1 hit. So then we remove a blockhouse. So that's 1. We'll try another one in the Omaha. No, let's try again. No, let's try again. Oh, that's 4, 5, 6. Okay, well, looks like we're only going to kill one blockhouse. On average, we should have killed 2, but yeah, what can you do? It's dice. Alright, so that's the abstract thing. And now we get to place our fighters. Again, the rules state you can only place 4 per zone, so I'm going to stick with that here for this video. But we're actually going to break things up a little bit today. We're going to put 2 guys into there. We're going to put a couple guys there. That tank tries to leave. See if we can do to it. And get some British fighters here. We're going to go there. And let's see here. Where else can we? Maybe we'll put a couple of fighters there. Maybe to stop reinforcements trying to come down the peninsula there. Alright, so again, the fighters just sit there, and when a unit goes into or out of that zone, they get to strafe it. It's a roll of 1 or less for a hit. Alright, that's that card. And now, anti-aircraft. Okay, this is where the anti-aircraft get to shoot at the fighters if I put any in there, but I didn't. During the game you will have to in order to make the best use of your fighters, but I hate losing planes on the first round. So I tend to never put them in where there are those things. Then we have the bomber strike. Okay, so this is where the bombers get to come in and get to bomb anything they want. And the nice thing is they get to bomb before any anti-aircraft shoots at you, which is kind of nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to really soften up this landing zone here for the British. Alright, so we have 2 at 3, and the green ones are my 3-sided hit dice. Okay, so we got 1 hit. Okay, again, the Germans choose whether to take that or that. Probably take the man, because the blockhouses are going to be shooting soon. The next card is just bringing the bombers. Or, sorry, I guess it's the artillery. It's just that I never put them in when there's artillery around, because the 88s could shoot down your bombers. Never lose your bombers on the first round. And then we just fly the bombers back. They're basically in and out. And when you play this game enough, you don't even put them on the map. You just point at things that you're bombing and roll your dice. Alright, and now the Allies get to move. Anybody that's on the ground that can move gets to move. But you only get to move if you have no enemy units in your zone. And they all have enemy units in their zone. The blockhouse is here. That's an enemy unit in the zone. 2 enemy units there. And of course there's lots of stuff there. So they cannot move. They're locked in mortal combat. And now the blockhouses get to fire. Okay? So all the blockhouses get to fire. And a roll of 3 means that they killed something. So, again, we'll use these here. And we've got 1, 2, 3 firing into that, into Sword Beach here. So we're going to roll 3 dice. Okay, well that's not so bad, just 1. Pretty fortunate actually. We'll take the guy who's laying down there. Then we only have 1 firing into Juno. Ooh, close. We got 2 firing into Gold. 1 hit. And we've only got 1 now firing into Omaha thanks to the naval bombardment. But still got a hit. The plucky defenders. And then we've got 3 blockhouses. You just follow the red arrows. And they're firing onto Utah, and just the 1 hit. Okay. There we go. So that's the blockhouses. And now the Allies land. This is when they bring everybody aboard. Now remember, you can only have 8 units per territory, but early on, it's not really a concern. I know that some people are getting a little triggered by this, me just crushing things on. But there you go. Okay. Now the neat thing is that you had 3 guys here already, and then you had a possibility of landing 6, which would be 9. So somebody would have to stay behind. But since they killed 1 out there, everybody can land. So the beachhead zones are empty. And now the Allies attack and the Axis defends, and you only do one cycle of combat, one round. Alright, now this is just ground units, and all those paratroopers are now just like regular infantry, so... Okay, sorry about that, my battery died, and so I've been charging it for a little while, and gonna have to take a little break here for supper, and then I gotta go out to life group, so I'm not going to be able to finish off the game this evening, unfortunately. But now we're on the Allies Attack Axis Defends card. This is card 11. And so I think I just mentioned that these airborne infantry now act like regular infantry, so they get that kind of sneak attack shot at the beginning, and now they get a little bit more to do the attacking. Now remember, attacking and defending cards are all land units, okay? It actually says it quite specifically, land units, okay? So please keep that in mind. I know some people get excited and go, oh, I'll shoot at that. No, you can't do that yet. Alright, so here we go. So we have 3 there, nothing. So then the Axis gets to defend, and they got 2 twos. Oh, looks like we got 1 hit there. The Americans goes away. And then in this box we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 infantry and an artillery. And remember that the artillery does not help promote infantry in this game. So here we go. Just need 1 hit to kill the... Yeah, look at that. The infantry did it. And then the blockhouse gets to defend, but it only defends at a 1. Oh, of course it does. Okay. So the blockhouse is gone. But so is an American infantry. Alright, let's put them in the bone pile over there. Alright, now this is going to be the tough nut to crack as it was historically. So we have 5 1s and 2 2s. So here we go, we got 5 1s and 2 2s. Oh wow, we are not doing well. So just 1 hit. That'll probably be the... infantry, sorry, forgot what that was for a second. But that still remain. They still remain with 4, 5, 6, 7 2s and a 1. So 7 2s and a 1. Oh, I didn't bring out enough 2s dice, so we're gonna have to roll them. So there's 2 hits and then 3. So that's historically accurate. So 1's dead there, and then 1 German died. Alright, so 3 Americans and 1 German there. So that's pretty historically accurate. And now we have 3 1s, a 2, and a 3. Got the D-Day tank up there. Alright, so 3 1s, a 2 for the artillery, and a 3 for the tank. Just need 3 hits. And we got nothing. That's not so good. And there are 2 blockhouses and 1 German infantry. The British 50th Division, well, at least they got away unscathed. But it will be difficult to bring a lot of reinforcements in there. Alright, so the next one over, we got 3 1s. And we have 1 2 and 1 3. Alright, just 1 hit. Just can't seem to get that knockout punch. And the Germans will probably lose the man, so the blockhouse can fire next round. But it still has a 1 and a 2 in defense. Nothing there. Alright, so Germany's going to lose the man. And here we have our best chance to do some damage. We have 6 1s, a 2, and a 3. See if the British 3rd Infantry Division can do some damage here. Well, there we go. 1, 2, 3. That takes care of all the German stuff in that space. But they still have the shot back. So it's a 2 and 2 1s. Kind of picturing that scene in Saving Private Ryan when they get in behind the bunker and start chucking grenades and flamethrowers. Not so good. Yeah, nothing there. So the British have a very successful landing there on Sword Beach. So the card number 11 is now gone. And now the Axis gets to move, but fighters do get to strafe, okay, for anything that leaves or enters the zone with a fighter. Alright. So as the Axis player, you have a number of choices. Everything moves 1 except for tanks can move 2. So men are going to move there. There are 6 Axis units in there, so probably do that and probably do that to make it 8 and really cause a log jam on Omaha Beach. If they can stop this for about 3 rounds, that usually means sometimes I've seen the Allies just kind of pack it in at that point. If they can't break through here by the end of round 3, yeah, things are just not going too well. Now this tank, he wants to get rid of these guys here, so he is actually going to attempt to move into there, but as soon as he leaves that zone, those 2 fighters get a shot at him, but they have to hit it a 1. So we'll see what happens here. No, he's fine. This man's going to stay here, but this tank, he's going to try to get over here as well. So we'll see if he makes it. 2 American P-38s. Yeah, he's fine. And this infantry is going to join up in there. And you have strategy. As a German, you have some strategic options here. You can either try to clog everything up into one zone and make it a real tough nut to crack, or you can spread things out, hoping to spread out the Allied forces. Alright, you have those choices. Now, the Canadians are causing grief here. So they're going to move in those 2 guys there and a tank and hope to do some damage. And this tank here, well, they've done pretty well moving around, so he's going to try to join. We'll see if he can make it. Yep, he's going to make it. All right. And then these fellas here, they're all just going to move up 1 space. So the aircraft really didn't really affect much on this one, and because the aircraft aren't bothering there, we're just going to move these guys over as well. Alright, these blockhouses, nobody has to take these, it's not part of the situation, so essentially the Allies can ignore any of the boxes that are outside of cities or outside of landing zones. You can just ignore them, go around them. But if they do have fire onto a beach, you know, they'll continue to fire until your bombardment can get rid of them. All right. So the Axis moved, and now the Axis get to attack, and the Allies get to defend. All right. So we'll go here first. So we got 2 3s, a 2, and 2 1s. All right. So we have 2 1s, 2 3s, and a 2. Here we go. You only need 2 hits. Oh, fortune favors. So the Americans then get to shoot back. They got 2 infantry and nothing. Alright, but they did lose 1 here. Now the thing about it is that when the Axis does move all those guys into there like they did, as long as there's a surviving Allied unit, they're stuck. They're locked in combat. Can't go anywhere. Alright. So now we have the next battle with actual ground forces is right here. So this is a big one. You got 4 men and you have 4 artillery. So that's 4 1s and 4 2s. The blockhouses do not fire during this this phase. They only fire during their special phase, and they get to fire, you know, a couple phases ago. So here we go. 4 1s and 4 2s. Youch! 4 hits. And that is everything. So we'll just have the Americans answer back. See if we can get some hits here on Omaha. Oh, there you go. You got 3 hits. So it's going to be 3 Germans. They're going away. But the entire Omaha beach has failed. That's not good. Alright, now here we have the Axis shooting. He's only got a single single white die, and he gets a hit. And then remember, the tanks defend it too. Alright, they defend it too on this for the Allies. Everything the Allies have defends it too, which makes it fairly simple. Alright, but they still have 5 shots back at 2. So we'll see if they can maybe clear out that zone. And nothing. Okay. Wow, this is, yeah, it's not too good. Alright, so now we have 2 3s and 2 2s. Let's see what goes on here. So we got 2 hits, and the British have 5 2s coming back. Alright, we got to turn the tide for the Allies here. See if those crazy Canucks there on Juno Beach can do it. Here we go. No, they can't. Wow. This is really bad. And that's it. There's nothing else on this zone, and everything's good. So the Axis has moved and attacked. And now we have the Allied reinforcements. This is where you roll 2 dice for the UK and roll 2 dice for the US. Okay, and this is where you need these types of dice. The hit dice don't do it properly. So we're going to roll for the Americans first. 6. Okay. And you can only have 8 per zone, but there's nobody here, so they can put all 6 on. And the first 6 all have to go, as the little sign there says, on Utah Beach. So we're going to take all 6 of them and put them in Utah Beach. Okay. So that's where they go. And there's still 2 blockhouses that are going to be pounding on them if the bombardment doesn't get rid of them. But Omaha Beach, no reinforcements coming in. Just don't have enough. Did not roll well enough to get any reinforcements on Omaha Beach. So this is a problem, folks. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now we have Gold Beach for the British. Gold, Juno, and Sword. Ooh, 10. Okay. Now this you have to be really careful with again, remember, because you can only have 8 per zone. So I could put 4 here, 5 here, and then 1 there, and that's the way we should do it. So spread out the love a little bit here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got a couple of tanks coming on. And we want to put them in a place where they're less likely to get killed by blockhouses. And the Juno Beach would probably be a good spot because it's here. It's also central. Can go to Saint Lô a little more easily. So we're going to put both of our armor right in the middle here. And so we can put 5. So we'll do that. So we got 5. Because you also don't want to stack all your expensive stuff in one zone, and then the German will pile all his tanks in the one zone as well. So you got to be careful. And we're going to put some infantry here. Good grief, guys. Looks like you had a few there. All right. So I can put 5 here, and I can put, oh, I think this guy was here. So there's 4 there. So I can only put 4 there, 4 there, and we'll put another artillery there. Again, artillery doesn't help per se, but it is shooting at a 2 instead of a 1. So maybe a better idea might be to, in case he gets a lucky hit, we'll do that. Put that back there. All right. Then the Axis reinforcements. Well, let's see what the Germans get for the east and the west. So we'll start on the west. Ouch. Okay, so you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now they can come on anywhere for Rennes, and Chartres. Okay, so they can come in here, 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 or here. Well, things are looking pretty good in the center, so we'll just put a couple infantry right there. But over here, looks like it could be trouble. So we're gonna we're going to put everything like that. And we'll add a little bit of infantry on this side, just so we've got time to help send low. No big pressure there. All right. Now let's see what the Germans get on the east. 5. Well, and it's 5 panzers. And the nice thing about this game that I actually do like is they went back and they saw who showed up when, who showed up first and whatnot. So here we have the 654th, the 101st, and the 12th. We got a Panzerjäger Brigade, a Panzer Brigade, and a Panzer Division. Alright, so now the one thing as a German you want to make sure you don't do is put all your eggs in one basket coming in, because then the airplanes are able to really thump on you. So you do have to be careful about that. Having said that, I think I'll move one tank over there. Alright, so yeah, so there's the reinforcements, and then all the fighters go back. So we take all of our fighters and put them back. Nothing shoots at them on the way back, they just fly home, fly back to their air bases. And that is one turn, because we're out of order cards. We flip them over, and we're down to 15 cards now, because of course the Airborne Assault card is null and void. Alright, so that's round 1. That's about all I can do right now, and I'll be finishing this up as soon as I possibly can. Alright, we'll see you in a minute. Alright, we are back to round 2 here. We'll get things rolling. The first thing we do, of course, is get to do our naval bombardment. So we get to roll 6 dice, and we're targeting these nasty blockhouses. And I tell you, we only got 1 out of 6 last time, which is 50% of what we should be getting. But hopefully we will have a bit more success this time with those nasty, nasty blockhouses. So the one that's probably got to go, that one's got to go. So that'll be our first shot, and we're hoping we get more than 1 hit, but we'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so we got 1 hit. So that blockhouse is gone. So Omaha Beach no longer has those nasty blockhouses, but we're down to 1 die here. And well, hey, I'm Canadian, so we're going to try to take care of the one on Juno Beach. I think that's probably not a bad one. Maybe save the armor. Nope, no joy. Alright, well, we got the one off of Omaha anyway. And now we get to move our fighters. And we're going to put them in places where they're going to do some good. Now remember that 4 is the most that you can put in to any zone. So we're going to put these 4 guys here, because if any of them try to leave, they get 4 shots at each unit, right? But they got to hit on a 1, so it's again not a great chance of success, but you never know. But there's a lot of armor over here, and we want to slow down the armor. So we're going to put 2 there, and we'll put 2 here. We'll see what happens. That leaves these 2 scot-free. I don't really like that, actually. So I think what we'll do is we'll move 1 there and move 1 there. So should be okay. We're hoping. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Now the anti-aircraft fire. Of course, if there were any of the 88s, they could shoot at the planes, but once again, it's early in the game. At some point, I'll be forced to put the fighters in with the German 88s, but for right now, we don't have to, so we won't. Now the bombers get to strike. This is where they get to just go in and shoot. I'll show you folks one more time by actually putting the bombers on, but many times, like I say, we just go and don't even worry about that. So we're going to try to help our fighters out a little bit here. See if we can't take care of them. Alright, so they get to roll at 3, so the American bomber, nothing, and the British bomber, hey, there we go, the old Lancaster. So we're going to take care of Mr. Tank there, so that's pretty good. And then of course the next card is anti-aircraft, but wasn't silly enough. And the next card sends the bombers back. Alright, so we're going to put them back, and there we go. Alright. Now we get on to the whole getting things moving around. So here's the Allies get to move, but only guys that are on the land, not the beachhead boxes, and if they're not already tied down by other forces. So as we look around, the American, he's tied down. These folks aren't. So they could move in, and we know that the next phase is them attacking and the Germans defending. Then the Germans will attack and they will defend. So we do want to be careful, but we do want to vacate this box, or this territory, because there's only 8 per territory, there's 5 guys here, and there's 6 guys coming on, and we want to make sure that we leave some space. And so we are going to vacate this, and we're going to move everybody north, because we do have to take Cherbourg. So we're going to move everybody north, and hopefully be able to do something about that. We look over here, the British are tied up, Canadians are tied up, but the British third is free to roam, and they have 8 guys there, and we can see one lonely guy in the back, so we definitely want to move out from there, and we can move in any direction we want. So we could try to take out this tough nut to crack here. We could come and lend some assistance over here. Lots of different choices. Choices. Well, I think what we need to do is we need to put a dent in this armor here. So we're going to send over a tank, and we've got 5 guys there, and we know that when you've played this enough, the blockhouses fire next, okay, and then the beachhead guys come on, right? So we want to make sure that we leave enough room. So moving that guy in there doesn't leave enough room for everybody to get in, and we got 2 other tanks coming in, so that should be okay. So we're not going to add anything to that box there. Okay, we'll let the troops that are coming in take care of that. So maybe we got some better uses for these 8 troops here. So maybe we'll head over here, move into there, and punch a big hole that way. We'll see. The other option is that we could move here. And what that does is it puts us close to Caen, but kind of in the way, and that would block this guy if he survives and this guy from getting into Caen right away. Actually, this guy could still make it. So, you know what? Maybe we'll just move everybody right into Caen. Sometimes not a great move, because then the Germans just can concentrate all their forces there and wipe out that contingent, but we'll see. I have a feeling the Allied dice are going to turn around here pretty shortly, and a little bit more love for the Allies, but we'll see. But that's all the Allies, that's all of them that can move. And now we are onto the blockhouses fire. Okay, so each of the blockhouses fire down the red arrows onto the beaches. So we have just one guy here and one blockhouse, and they fire at a 3 or less, and they fire. So we'll see what happens here. Oh, that lone infantry survives. And we have one blockhouse firing out to that beachhead. Ooh, they have turned around. We got 2 blockhouses here firing onto Gold Beach. Oh, I spoke too soon. So Gold Beach loses 2 men. That kind of hurts. And the blockhouses here are gone, so they have nothing to shoot at. This blockhouse is gone, but these 2 still remain, so they're going to fire into the Utah Beach zone. Okay, so that's another hit. So 3 infantry were lost that round to the blockhouse fire. So it's not quite as bad as the first round. I think they took out quite a bit more. Alright. And now the Allies get to land. So after they've been shot at, they get to bring their boys aboard. So we'll move these guys in. Omaha Beach didn't get any reinforcements last time because the Americans didn't roll well enough. So, Gold Beach, they can come ashore because that leaves 6. And these 5 can come ashore, add to the 3, which is our total of 8 maximum. And of course, Buddy here can all alone just run in there. See how long he lives. And then we have the Allies get to attack now, and the Axis will defend. So in many cases, this means the destruction actually of the Allies, because they just don't have the horses. And to show you what I mean, we'll head over here. And we just got one infantryman. He's by himself. And he's got a couple of Panzer Corps there, and, well, probably not Corps, but at least battalions. So he's got to do that. He missed. We got 2 tanks and 2 men and an artillery. So that's that, and he's dead lots. Okay, so there goes the last of the American 101st Airborne Division. But over here we could have a bit more success. So we have an artillery and 4 infantry. So we'll see what happens there. So there's 4 infantry and an artillery. Nothing. And the Germans defend. And nothing. Alright, everybody's shooting blanks over there. Alright, now over here we'll have a 3, 3 2s, and 2 1s. So a 3, and 3 2s, and 2 1s. And all they need are 3 hits. If they get 3 hits, then they have subdued that landing zone. And we sure didn't get that. So we got 1. And the Germans are going to reply. They get a 2 and 2 1s. Those blockhouses fire nicely in the attack, but in defense they're pretty much death traps. But they still kill somebody because yeah, it's just the way it is. Alright, so the Germans are going to elect to just take off the infantry and hang on to the blockhouses and hopefully inflict more casualties in the landing zone. And over here we've got a bit more of a mess. So we'll just organize this a little better. I'm sure we'll be pulling some of these guys off here in a second, so not a great worry. So we have 3 3s, 3 2s, and 2 1s. So there's our 2 1s, 3 2s, and 3 3s. So that's the maximum. It's 8 dice, and that's pretty much the best fighting force the Allies are going to put together in one roll during this game. So let's hopefully they can do some good here. Oh, you saw that one. You hung on for a second, but we did get 3 hits. Okay, so the 3 hits then would definitely be the blockhouse and the 2 artillery. Okay, they'll definitely hang on to the armor. That's the one thing the Germans want to hang on to as best they can. But now they get to shoot back. They get a 1, 2 2s, and 2 3s to shoot back with. And finally, not so bad. So the Allies just lose some infantry. And so the Germans lose all of that. Alright, there we go. And that is it for ground base attack. Everything else is air, and there are no other conflicted zones. Now the Axis get to move, but again, if anything moves out of a zone that has a fighter, it is zorched. Well, the Germans just need to get into con here, so they are definitely going to marshal things up. They're probably going to go here and go here. All right, so we will roll our dice. So the first die will be for the more southerly tank. He's okay, and then the other guy, he's okay. So that both these tanks make it into here, and they'll have all those guys move in. So that's 7. And then these 2 tanks, they're probably going to need to help out over here. We're going to go 1 there, 1 there. And because tanks can move 2, of course. He's going to go there. He's going to go there. So they both get shot at by 3 dice each. And this guy gets shot at by 2. Or these two get shot at by 2 dice each. Okay, so we'll go with this guy first, then this guy. He's okay. Oh, that guy didn't make it. Hurricane with rockets came in, the old typhoon, and boom. Alright. This one is getting 3 dice against him. I think I did the right tank, sir. Alright, so 3 dice against that tank. Nothing. And I think it was actually 3 dice against that one there. So he died anyway, so it's all good. Now these men, they've got to get moving. These men have to get going, so they're going to head towards Caen. Try to put the hurt on the British over there. So you're going to have 3 dice 3 times. So 1 infantry dies. Oop, 2 infantry die. Oh, wow. Okay, remember when I said the Allies' dice are going to turn around? And there you have it, folks. You saw it here first. Alright, now there's nothing else for the Germans to move outside, inside a zone where there's fighter patrol. So everything else can just move at its leisure. So we're going to move these into Saint-Lô. Move those guys up there. And we're going to have, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we will have 8. Okay, we're going to try to crush that American landing zone like right now. Okay, and if they can do that, then maybe they can hold on to the peninsula. That's pretty rare, but could happen. Okay, I'll move that guy into there. All right. And now we have the Axis get to attack, and the Allies get to defend. So we'll start over here. This is where the Axis might end up losing a couple of tanks, but may take some people with them. Here we go. They got 1 hit. That'll be the Canadian infantry there. And then, rolling back, they'll have 4 2s and 3 3s. Yeah, there you go. So a couple of German tanks are no longer for this world. And these do not attack on their own if they're by themselves. They will defend when attacked if they're by themselves, but they don't attack on their own. No other conflicts around here. But then we have this big monstrosity up here. So what we have is 2 3s, 2 2s, and 4 1s. 2 2s, 2 3s, and 4 1s going up against the 4th Infantry Division, the Americans. See what happens. Not terribly bad. So it took a couple of hits there, so a couple of infantry will be removed from play. And then we have 5 2s coming back. So grab our blue dice. So 5 2s. Well, let's see if the Americans can respond in kind. Well, they got 1 hit. Still below the average, but at least they got somebody off the board. All right. So that's it for ground-based attacks. And now we do our reinforcements for the UK, the US, and then for the Germans. And then the fighters go back. Now the thing about the fighters going back is when they do put in reinforcements where there are planes, they do get strafed because they're moving into the zone. So as you can see, the Chartres, Rouen zones have fighters in them. So everything that comes in on the eastern board will get strafed, whereas the west can get moved into Rennes. All right. So that's just a note there on the bottom. Okay. For each fighter, roll 1 die for each fighter for each unit that enters. Okay. So if they put in 8 units here, that's 8 dice and 8 dice. You'd roll 16 dice. But let's just see what we got. We'll just do the rolls, and then we'll put all the guys on. So the Americans, that's 7. And all of these guys have to go on to Omaha. And that's 6. So then we do get one more, and it says any beach. And, well, kind of tough, but I think we're going to put it here for the simple reason that if we put it here, we still could have 2 blockhouses shooting and they could plunk a tank, whereas there's no blockhouses here. So they'll get ashore. And that's the 8 limit hasn't been breached because we only rolled 7. Now the British. Ouch. Well, that's going to be tough. We only get 4. One of them is armor though, which is nice. And well, let's see here. It's always tough knowing where to put them because they those blockhouses can be a problem. So we're gonna concentrate stuff here on Juno Beach because the blockhouses are gone, and so these guys get to move out first, and then you land your guys. So at least they're safe there, and they're pretty much in position because it's only one space away from a con. And now the Germans. We'll start with the western side. Okay, so they get 10 units. Yeehaw. So there's 10, or 5, pardon me, and 10. Okay, on the plus side, there's nothing that's going to be coming in as armor over here. So we'll definitely be putting 5 things here. Just trying to figure out, or pardon me, 8 things. So we're going to put 8 of those guys there, and then we'll put 2 up here. We don't need them getting shot at unnecessarily. And this is where the Germans want to roll pretty low. Oh, they rolled 10 too. Alright. So here's 5. And then another 5. Alright, so if we look carefully, we can see that there are 3 fighters here, 2 fighters here, only 1 here and 2 here. So the smart money would be to put your armor there, and as they come on, you know, you can choose the death, of course. I think we're going to put our 2 men there. Losing men is not such a big deal. The artillery, though, this is really good for anti-aircraft, but you don't want it dying just as it comes in. So, all right. So these guys here are going to roll 4 dice total at 1. All right. So 4 dice, and it's just men. And since it's all the same, and you just roll all the dice at the same time. Got 1 hit, so 1 German casualty. This one here, there are 8, so there's actually 8 dice will be rolled. So we'll just roll all 8. Whoops. Big mitt full of dice here. Alright. Whoa! Alright, well that's 2 infantry and definitely the artillery. That hurt. So 40% of the German reinforcements were destroyed before they even get into the game. And that is, that's a problem. That's a problem. Alright, now I just see that, got a big mess here. I'm just making sure got the guys back where they're supposed to be. I think so. Alright, so now that the German reinforcements have come in and took a bit of a pounding, we will move everybody back to the airfield, and we'll start over again. So you just take your card, make sure you put it like that, flip it on over, and start with the kaboom again on the beach houses, or the beach. Yeah, it would have been nicer if they would have been beach houses. I think the day would have been a lot smoother. So we need to help out over here now. So we got these blockhouses shooting. So we're going to target that one. Ooh, Gonzo. And I don't know why I'm rolling ones. I should be rolling twos. Did I roll ones last time? Nope, I rolled twos. But anyway, we got a hit, so that's cool. For those purists out there saying, you gotta re-roll the right dice. Too bad. House roll. Alright. So that's one. And you know what? We're gonna take another poke at that one up at the top. So it's 1, 2, missed. 3, 4, come on now. 5, okay, so we got a hit there. So that one's gone. And we got one more we can shoot at. I think this is the only one that's really going to cause grief right now. So last shot. Got him. Alright. Those allied dice have heated up. Knock, knock. Alright. And in come the fighters. So now putting fighters here, okay, so having the German player put everything here, there's no way on earth fighters are going to go in there. That's just not smart at all. So, but we are going to put some in and around here. We're going to try to stop the armor from getting up there too quickly. I think we'll let the bomber try to take care of that one. And boy, those 88s start to really add up. Maybe we'll try to do that. You know what? We'll let the bomber take care of that as well. All right. And the anti-aircraft, of course, I did not put any of my fighters where there is anti-aircraft. And then the bombers get to come. Again, I'm not going to bother doing that with the bombers. We're just going to go after these two tanks. Okay, so these two, and we'll just roll them at the same time. Speedy, speedy. And one of them dies. And we'll just go left to right here, and there we go. And then the bombers are going to go back after the anti-aircraft shoots. Of course, there's no anti-aircraft. And the bombers are back. All right, and now the Allies get to move. Now, this is great here for the British, because the British now own Caen, and they can move out from Caen. And remember, unless they leave the city empty, and the passage to the city empty, the Germans have to fight their way through everything. So, you know, the British have a number of options here. So we will see what goes on. All right. Let's do this. I think I messed up. I think I might have rolled a 3 dice, the 3-hit dice for my tanks and defense last round. If I did, I apologize. But we need to use these tanks on offense and hopefully deal some damage. So here we have 8 units there. And then we have to put a couple of units there. And then we will put, actually we'll leave those guys there for now. And then the only thing that can make it in for the Germans would be these 2 tanks, possibly a 3rd tank. It's possible. So maybe we'll move one guy back. That might cause some grief. These folks here are still having to clear out the bunkers. And they don't move. Now these folks are all alone, and there's 5 of them, and they only have 3 here, and they are under major siege there. So we are going to move all them in there. Alright. Here we go. Alright. And now the blockhouses get to fire onto the landing zones. But as we look at the blockhouses, they've all been cleared out. These 2 haven't, but there's nobody to shoot at. There's no blockhouses here, no blockhouse here, no blockhouse here, and no blockhouse here. So our strategy is very, very good at that. And fairly soon we'll actually be able to throw this card out once we kill these two things. Because if no blockhouses are able to fire onto the beaches, you don't have to use the card anymore. Alright, now we bring our troops ashore, the ones who are landing. They land, and that is all. Gotta roll better, guys. I tell you, it's not enough guys. Alright, now the allies are going to attack. So here we have 4 3s, 3 2s, and a 1. Alright, that is a pretty potent force for this game. I think I said last round it was one of the most potent you could get. Well, this here has upped the ante a little bit, but you really have to do this early on with your armor because it will get whittled away and you don't have a lot of replacements. There's only 2 more British tanks coming in. Alright, here we go. That's a really bad roll. Alright, so just 2 hits. So that'll definitely be the 2 infantry. So there are 3 3s and 4 2s coming back. Well, little saving grace there, only 1 hit. So the infantry, of course. Alright, so back in the bone pile. Alright, nothing else here, no conflict. And then here we have a conflict, so we have 3 2s, a 3, and a 1. 3 2s, a 3, and a 1. They need 2 hits to get rid of those blockhouses. And we got none. What is it with Gold Beach today? I don't know. Anyway, here come the Gold Beach return fire. Nothing there. Alright, now here on Omaha. Can they finally get ashore on Omaha? So we've got a 3, 2 2s, and 4 1s. So a 3, 2 2s, and 4 1s. And here we go. Hey, 3 hits. That's almost everything. Down to 2 units, and the Germans get 5 2s coming back at you. Here we go. And the Germans get 1, but they lose 3. And just 1 more attack, and have 3, 4, 5 1s and 3 2s. So fairly lots of guys, but not a lot of punch there. Alright, here we go. Hey, we still got a couple though. That's pretty good. So a couple of the Wehrmacht, the Heer, go away. And we've got then 5 2s and 2 3s coming back. 5 2s and 2 3s. So 5 2s and 2 3s shooting back at the American infantry and artillery contingent. And just a couple of hits. So it's not so bad. Americans definitely need more on Utah if they're going to take Cherbourg anytime soon. Alright. Those guys go into the bone pile. And that is it. And now the Axis gets to move. So their boys get to move. And if there are any fighters in the zones where they're trying to move, they're going to get strafed. So one way to counter the, the fighter patrols is to not move anything that has fighters. But sometimes the Germans just have to. They're just kind of forced into it. So we shall have to see here if there's something worth dying for. Well, we'll start on this side. And all these folks can move up here. And these 2 tanks could actually move into here, and I think we will. Because you can do a lot of damage there. Move that guy there. And then we have these fellas here. We're going to move them up. And we'll move all these folks into Saint-Lô. Move them over there. The Germans are going to reinforce here. They've got 5, they can add 2 for 7. So that's legal. And the rest of the guys will stay in Cherbourg right now. So that is I think, all we have for opportunities for the Germans. Alright, we could move these. Let's just take a closer look and see if there's anywhere they're desperately needed, where they could risk being strafed. And we don't see it. It's not there. But you'll notice at the end of the round, there are no fighters in the zones where the reinforcements are coming in, mainly because of all the anti-aircraft that was there. So, when the Germans bring in their reserves this time, they will not be strafed to death like they were last round. Okay, so now we have the Axis get to attack and the Allies get to defend. So here's the Axis. This is nasty. So we got 5 3s and 2 2s. So we have 5 3s and 2 2s. Oh my. Oh, maybe they don't have gas. I don't know. But they only got 1 hit. Move that out, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at 2. Just got to grab another blue die. Here we go. So we have 7 at 2. Well, that attack may not work out well for the Germans. Oh, speaking of out of gas. Alright, so that didn't work too well. Alright, again, the blockhouses do not do anything in defense. They are just sitting there. Alright, so they don't actually attack. But over here, we have these 2 88s. So you got 2 2s. If they do any damage, got 1 hit. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2s coming back. So this might help clear out Omaha Beach. And it does. So there's 2 more hits and the 2 88s go bye-bye. And then we have this attack here. So we have 3 of those and 3 of those, and the Germans have 2 3s, 2 2s, and 3 1s. 2 3s, 2 2s, and 3 1s. Here we go. Ouch. Ooh, look at the infantry shooting the place up. Alright, so that's 3. That'd be 3 American GIs. Bye-bye. But they do get to shoot back, of course, being Axis and Allies, as it is. Well, they exacted a little bit of revenge. Not quite equal, but the Germans won't be reinforcing up there. Probably ever. So, that's what's left up there now. Alright. And now we have our reinforcements coming in, and all the rest. So I'm just going to pause the tape. Tape? Do we use tape anymore? I'm going to pause the recording here. I can do the rolls. You know, I'll let you see the rolls. So the UK got 7. America got 6. And so 7 and 6. UK is 7. America is 6. The West is 6. And the East is 8. Alright. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh goody, more tanks. Okay. So they're going to come in on the West. And then we had 7 for the Brits and 6 for the Americans. So I'll be putting those on, and we'll get back to it in just a minute. Alright, do a little flyby here on the map. Looking pretty good. Oh, got to move that up, turn 3 now. Pretty good up here for the Germans on the peninsula, but all of the American troops that were landing landed at Utah Beach. They want to go and mop this up right away. Omaha Beach, as we know, is in Allied hands and should remain so. And the Gold Beach here should fall fairly shortly. Now, all the British troops were put into here, and we're going to have to change that because they can't. I'll put some infantry over here. They can't all fit because again, they can't leave if they're engaged, and they're engaged, and we're going to assume that the bombardment won't kill those things. If it does, oh well, it's kind of a happy sad moment. Now the fighters didn't get put back because I forgot. Alright. Alright, so here we go. We're going to go with those blockhouses and try to kill them all. We only really have to kill 2 more. And after that, we're just trying to take out things for the rest. So what we're going to do is we are going to fire 6 shots. And if we get 2, they both go. And if we get a third, we'll start killing the ones that are in Cherbourg. If we get a third. I'm hoping we just get 1 at least here. Here we go. Hey, look at that. We got a third. So we got 1, 2, oops, and 3 out of Cherbourg. Look at that. Starting to turn. And here come the fighters. Alright, so now here we are in turn 3. But the Germans have put in quite a bit of anti-aircraft this round, as you can see, and they've protected their shiny new tanks with some anti-air. And the stuff that had to come in the west, though, couldn't really protect the tanks. So it's over here. So what we're going to do as fighters, because we look at the next, so the east only has 4 more units to come in, and then they're out of reinforcements. So if the British can subdue this side and start pushing towards Saint-Lô, it should be okay. But there's a lot of stuff to come in yet on the west. So we will. I think we're going to have to risk it for the biscuit here. I think we're going to have to try to. Well, you know what? Even if we get hit, they're probably just going to take the artillery. Probably be the smart thing. Boy, this is tough. Well, you know what? Putting them here tied up those tanks last time. We'll see if the Germans feel like doing anything about that. And well, you know what? That still might be the thing to do. You know what? Let's go for it. Go for it. Even if we can kill some anti-air, maybe we'll get lucky. Who knows? Alright. Alright, 1 die for each artillery in a zone containing fighters. So they get 2 dice here. And hope we don't lose any Hurricanes or Spitfires here. Okay, so we're okay. And some of you are thinking, well, shouldn't you roll 2 dice per artillery? No, you roll 1 die for each artillery in the zone containing fighters. So even if there's 4 fighters, they still only take 1 shot. So it's the ammunition shortage or something. Alright, and the bombers are going to come over. And what are the bombers going to shoot at? Remember, bombers can't... I can't bring bombers here to try to kill these tanks because we're all in the same zone. And let's see here. What's worth trying to kill? Well, you know, let's get rid of some infantry here. So we're going to put both bombers. Yeah, we're going to put both bombers right there. Alright, we're going to roll a couple of green dice. Oh, must be cloudy. Any aircraft gets to shoot, of course there isn't any, and the bombers go back. And now, get to move, but they have to be on land, of course. They can't move from the beachheads. So we're going to move. I think we better move the British first. So we're going to move those guys into there. We'll bring that guy there. And I think we need to clog up right here so those folks can't move. But I think we do need to bring in a couple extra here. That's probably suicide. They're probably just going to die in there. And we'll do that. Move 4 of them into con. Got to protect our tanks right now, though. We only got one more British tank coming on. We got to protect it. So we'll then take this whole mess here, and we're going to come there. And the Americans are just just don't have the horses to take on that right now, and if we lose a couple units, then the Germans are going to be able to reinforce and come back and punch that. So maybe we'll just stay there for now. We'll see if the British have any troubles there. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave that guy there. We're actually going to bring that 5th tank over. That 5th tank over and really try to hammer down this round. And we're really hoping that that really gets into the German armor. These folks have all moved. Those guys can't move. Alright, and now it's time for the blockhouses to fire out onto the beaches. But as we know, there are no more blockhouses able to fire onto beaches because they're all gone. So that's pretty typical. Here in turn 4, should be done with the blockhouses by now. Now the beach heads we bring in. They'll come in like that. And then we have the Allies attack and the Axis defend. So this one here is not probably going to go too well for the Allies. Might get lucky. Let's just see. Hey, well, we got one hit there. The Germans go like that, so they got 1, 2, 3 2s and 2 3s. And 1 hit. Well, you know what? That's trading units. Allies can kind of afford that, but got it. They do have to punch a little harder. So the next place with just ground units is this one here. So, well, let's do this little guy right here. So we got 4 1s and a 2. Gotta get all these ones out of here. So 4 1s and a 2. Alright, here we go. Need a hit. Hey, the infantry got him. So the Wehrmacht fella, he goes away, but he gets to shoot back. His death throws, nothing. So the British have taken that. There. And now we got this one here. So we got 5 3s and 3 2s. Here we go. 5 3s and 3 2s. Okay. If you're cheering for the Allies, this is a very important moment in the game. And they really laid an egg on that one. Every tank missed. They did get 2 hits, so that'll kill 2 of the artillery. But then they got 5 3s and 2 2s coming back. So it's almost a proportional response here. And if the Germans get a better roll... Oh, and they did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. That's 3 artillery and 2 tanks. So that was probably the worst thing that could have happened. So we'll see. Because in defense, these British tanks only roll at 2 now. And the Germans are probably going to move in some more artillery. So I think these British tanks might be gone. So it was a gamble. It was a gamble, kind of hoping on that big roll. Didn't work out though. Alright, so there's that. Now the Axis get to move. Alright, so the Axis kind of smell blood here. So they're going to move those guys in there. And well, they're gonna try. They're gonna try. They're gonna try to punch a. No, they aren't. They don't have enough. They don't have enough supporting infantry right now for that. Well, maybe they'll stay put. Maybe they'll stay put right now. And these tanks here. Yeah, I'm not going to do too well there. But they are going to bring some more units up here. So there's 8 units there now. And they'll bring these 4 into Saint-Lô. And these 2 men are going to join those folks there. These Germans and Americans are locked in combat, so they can't move. And that is pretty much it. This is, I don't know, the Germans, mathematically speaking, they'd probably use a unit or 2 and they could lose them. So, yeah, maybe we will. So, these 3 tanks are going to move to here with those 2 artillery. So that's 5 dice and that's 4 planes. So that's 20 dice getting rolled. So this could be a problem. So we're going to do 5 dice 4 times. Here we go. Oh, 1 hit. That's 1. Nothing there. 2. 3. Oh, there's the 2 hits. Okay, so a couple have already died. It's never fun for the Germans, but now they do have a ton of tanks here ready to smash the British pretty hard. And the British don't have an awful lot coming in. So Khan might be in trouble. We'll see. We'll see though. So it's too early to tell. But the Germans don't want to lose any more tanks there. But they will bring these into here. So that'll be 6 dice. The fighters get to use. I got 1 hit. So 1 infantry dies. And they're going to move in an infantry and artillery there. So that's 4 dice. And nothing. Okay, put some artillery in there, and that way the planes won't be quite so eager to head into those zones. Alright. Now the Axis get to attack and the Allies defend. So we'll start over here on the peninsula. And we have 2 2s and 2 3s. All these 1s out of the way. 2 2s and 2 3s. Uh-oh. 2 hits. Well, that's everybody. Okay, which means the Americans get to shoot back. Nothing. It's unfortunate for the Allies. This is going to be the real sad thing, though. So we got 3 2s and 5 3s. All right. 3 2s and 5 3s. Well, could have been worse. Could have been 3 hits. Just 2. And the British get to reply with 3 2s. Well, 1 hit. Alright, right on average. Okay, so that's that. And now we get to roll for our reinforcements again. And I'll show you the numbers, but then we'll cut so we can save a little bit of room on the card. So America, 9. Britain, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So all those guys get to go. And the British get, well, they get another tank back, but pretty low. And we'll do the German West, 6. And the East, 4. So that's all the East is done. And the Germans get 6 in the West. Alright, we'll let you know how things look in just a minute. Okay, this is what it looks like now. So the Americans are going heavier here on Utah, but still bringing stuff on Omaha because the Germans have a lot of stuff right here ready to cause some grief, and the British won't be able to stand up to that, all that black plastic. Did want to point out the 1 tank here. For some reason they sent me, I think I got 1 extra infantry and 1 less tank or something like that, but anyway, so you just got to swap it out with one of the ones you got from another version. I think, I'm not even sure where this one is from. Anniversary? I don't even remember. Could be Global 40 or Europe 40, pardon me. But nothing got placed into zones with fighters. They didn't have to, didn't need to risk it. So, all right, that is the way things stand right now. And so It's the blockhouse time, and we'll just start in Cherbourg, and if we do get a hit, then we'll move on here, 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 and here. So it's just 6 dice. And here we go. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't hold the camera with my left hand and use my right hand to roll dice. That doesn't seem to work out well at all. Alright, that was pretty sad. Now we're going to put our fighters on, and we are now at the point where we just really don't care. It's time to start losing fighters. So we've got to blunt this German reinforcement column, and yeah, we gotta try to do that. We'll see if that works. Of course, the anti-aircraft get to roll. Okay, so there's 2 dice for this zone here and 1 dice for that. So we'll do the 2 dice here. 1 hit. Maybe it does work. Alright, so a British fighter is gone. It's gone for the game. And then 1 artillery for the other side, and it's safe. Alright, and that's why we hate risking fighters, but it's time to be done now. Alright, now the bombers get to go. And we are just going to go hammer down on some tanks here. And again, you can't drop bombs where you already are, and I really, really do want to take care of those tanks right there. So, don't really want to lose bombers, but those tanks are a real pain in the tuchus right now. So we're gonna have to risk it here on. I guess this is turn 5 now, so I guess it's worth a risk. So here we go. So both bombers are going to try to bomb right there. See how it goes. Haven't been doing really well with the bombers, so. Oh, good grief. Okay, so the bombers are going to get shot at now. The anti-aircraft, the 88s. Okay, fortunate. The bombers go back. And now land units get to attack. Or they get to move. The Allied units get to move. Not necessarily attack. But we'll see what we do here. So these folks are definitely going to move in a little closer. You say, well, why don't you move into here? Well, we could. That would give these guys their 3s. And we do have a few bodies to spare, and we got reinforcements. You know what? Let's do it. Yeah, let's do that. Down here, though, we do not have the horses to take care of that. But we could muck it up with these guys right here. So we're going to try that there. And we'll even bring down another tank, just to have some fun. And these fellas will move a little bit into the territory there. And we definitely need to do something about this mess here. We need to save our tanks. And who knows, maybe we'll get lucky with the anti-aircraft there. Move in those guys, and they're going to take shots so that our tanks don't have to take the hits. And then we'll move those guys into Caen. Knowing that there's going to be Germans that can reach Caen this round, that's it might be tricky to hold on to it. We shall see. Blockhouses get to fire. Of course, they're all gone. And then we get to move into the landing zones. There's 8 there. Of course, we only rolled a 5. And then we get to fight. Alright, well, we'll start over on this side this time. So we got 2 3s, a 2, and 3 1s. So 2 3s, a 2, and 3 1s. Whoa! 3 hits. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. No complaints on that one. And the Germans will have 2 2s and 2 3s coming back. Okay, 2 hits. Alright, so 2 infantry. Anytime you can kill a German tank in this game is a time for celebration. Down here, so we've got 2 3s, 3 2s, and a 1. 2 3s, 3 2s, and a 1. 3 hits. Well, that's everything. So 2 2s and a 3 coming back from the Germans. And 1 hit. Well, that's a pretty interesting moment. I don't think they're going to live through the next round to really tell the tale, but at least they got rid of another panzer. And here we have the ill-fated attack of 4 infantry and an artillery. But you never know. Maybe it's those plucky Canucks charging through. Here come the... not even sure what unit was there. I know it's the 3rd Division, but... Hey, look at that. They got a hit, so... Artillery. So we got 3 3s and a 2 coming back. And 1 hit. Alright. I know the Edmonton regiment was in Ortona, but I can't remember if they got moved up there in time for D-Day. It's been too long since I've read through it. I should read through some more of that. And I'm from Edmonton, that's why I mentioned the Edmonton regiment. So now we have 2, 4, 6 1s and a 3. So we've gone from our 6 3s and a couple of 2s. You can see how we've lost a lot of punch here with the Brits, but oh wow, that's not so good. Alright, and the German response is 5 3s and 2 2s. This could be bad. We'll blame it on Montgomery. Whoa! Look at that, what is going on? Alright, well there you go, that is that, folks, and my memory card is full, so I'm going to have to go and dump it. And I'll come back and pick this up as soon as I can. We're on to the Axis Moves turn. So I'm going to leave that card right there just so I can remember. Alright. Alright, now we're on to the Axis Moves. And remember, if they move into or out of a place that has fighters in it, they get strafed. So for here, it's kind of fortunate that the British came in, because these tanks can't actually go anywhere because they're locked in combat. This anti-aircraft gun can, so he's probably going to move in. So he gets shot at by those 4 American fighters. So let's just see what happens. Oh, and he died. So he goes away. And I don't think there's anybody else. This tank can't move because of that. And nothing can get into that zone with the 3 remaining British fighters. Of course, 1 died last round. But the rest of these Germans are going to get a little uppity here. So they got a chance to crush some British armor. And remember, Allied armor only shoots at a 2 in defense. So this is the time to attack. Although the German infantry is only shooting at a 1, so it probably isn't really that big a deal. So they're all going to go in there. That's 8 units. And another strategy the Germans sometimes use is to really clog up the beachheads here. So charging in and clogging up this beachhead might be a move. Tank only shoots there, but they'd have 7 2s and a 3 versus 8. Sorry, they'd have 8 2s versus 4 1s and 4 2s. So they're 4 pips down, but it's unlikely that the Allies are going to get a bunch of German stuff. The other option the German has is to come across here and do that. So maybe they'll do that. 8 guys there. And these Germans here are going to stay here in reserve. Sorry folks, I just had a drink of something and down the wrong pipe. And these Germans see a bit of an opportunity because there is still quite a bit of stuff here. There's a lot of American stuff. It's possible they might be able to leapfrog up there. But, yeah, you know what? Maybe they'll stay there in reserve as well. Just hold tight. And of course the rest of these people are locked in combat. And these two fellas here, it looks like Khan is in a lot of trouble here. So we're going to have the Germans move those folks over that way. Try to get out of the way of the Allied juggernaut. But we'll see what happens here on this turn of combat. So the Axis is now attacking. So we're going to start up here. This one here might not go the way the Axis want it to because there's just one tank left. So it's 1-3 versus 4 2s. And this is where these hit dice really come in handy because we can roll it all at the same time because there are no overlapping dice. So it's a 3 for the German and then 4 2s for the Allies. Wow, they killed that German 3 times, but he did get a hit. So we're going to lose infantry, German tank into the bone pile over there. The other one we have here is that, so there's 4 1s and 4 2s versus 2 2s. Alright, so big northern push by the infantry and artillery. And there you go. That's 3 hits. That's all they needed. Only needed 2. And this is the Allied coming back. Nothing. Okay, so that worked out really well for the Germans. This one here, though, we'll see what goes on. So we've got 4 1s, 2 2s, and 2 3s. So 4 1s, 2 2s, and 2 3s. They're fighting against 5 units. Oh, that one didn't go quite as well. So I got 1 hit. That'll definitely be an artillery. But that still leaves 5 2s coming back against the Germans here. Let's see what happens. Oh, just 1 hit back. That'll just be a simple infantryman. We'll do this smaller one here first. So we've got 3 tanks versus 4 2s. So 3 3s versus 4 2s. So again, we can roll these all at the same time. Blues are for the Allies. Greens are for the Germans. Ooh, well, the Germans did well. They got 3 hits, but the Allies got 2 in return. So the Allies killed 2, killed 3, and there you go. So that was pretty costly for the Germans. They have no more reinforcements coming in on this side of the board, so it looks like Khan is pretty safe, but stranger things have happened. And now we have this one here, and this one here might show us if Khan is safe or if Khan is not. So we've got 5 3s and 2 2s. So 5 3s and 2 2s. Oh boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there are 5 out of 7 hits there. That's pretty good for the Germans. Of course, that would be 5 infantry. All going away. That's 5 2s plus the other 3. So that means 8 2s for the Allies. Oh, and for some reason I don't even have my 8 blues out. Alright. So here we go. 8 2s. Can they take care of some of that German armor? If they don't, Khan might need help. Well, not real good, but took out 2. But no armor. The armor remains. So that's what that looks like at the end of the Axis attacks phase. Now we do our reinforcements. And then we'll be placing the guys on. So let's see what America gets here. So 6 reinforcements for the Americans. And the British get that, but they've only got 3 fellows to put on anyway. And 6 for the Americans, so that's going to be 3 infantry and 3 artillery. Alright, so tanks still aren't on. The Germans, as we can see, their eastern reinforcements have been exhausted, but they still have 9 left on the west, including 3 armor. And 10, so everybody's on now. But it's all coming on the west, so it's Although we could put it here to help out Caen, or we could bulk up Saint-Lô. But we'll see what happens when we come back for the rest of the turn. There are no fighters in the reinforcement zone. Kind of probably a lost opportunity for the Allies, but they also didn't know that what would be happening here, so we'll have to see. Alright, we'll just take a pause and we'll come back. Okay, well, the only army left with any reinforcements is the American army. Everybody else has exhausted their reinforcement sheets. Nothing left, so what you see is what you got. So this is the situation around Caen. Looks like the Germans are going to put a big push towards there to try to make the city to be fought over and not just given up. The Germans are also pretty good position here with Saint-Lô. So we will have to see if the Americans can get up there and take out Cherbourg, or if they won't have the horses to do that. We'll see what happens here. The Germans are doing what they can to slow things down. Looks like there's going to be quite the large push straight south, but time will tell. Alright, so here's our blockhouses rolls. And again, we'll start in Cherbourg, and then here, and then just down the coast. These ones here really don't matter. And this one really doesn't either, because it's from here it's 1-2 or 1-2. Not really much of a difference. But we'll do our 6 dice rolls, even though there's only 5 left, of course. But we've only, I think the max we got was 2, and that was early on. For the most part, it's been 1 hit or no hit. Alright, here we go. Now there's the 1 hit. That's kind of what they really needed. They need to get rid of that one at Cherbourg to have a more of a fighting chance there. So Cherbourg now has only 5 units, and the Americans have quite a number of more units coming. Alright, now the fighters get to go on, and this is now going to be where we may have to have some fighters die in order to help the Allies contain this situation here. Now remember, fighters can go anywhere, but if they go on where there's anti-aircraft, the anti-aircraft will get a shot at them. But then if the troops in that zone try to leave, there is a good chance they will get shot at. So we're going to put that fellow there, and we're going to put these 3 British fighters here. So that when those guys try to leave Caen, they'll have 4 shots against them. They're going to have 3 here. But here we have 3 anti-aircraft. So each anti-aircraft gets 1 shot. We'll see if any P-38s get knocked down. No, safe, safe, safe. All right, safe to strafe. All right. Now we're going to be doing the bombers. Now remember, the bombers can't bomb in a place where there are Allied troops. So this one here would be nice to try to kill that tank, but you can't because you got your own troops in there. And remember that anti-aircraft will get a shot at the bombers, but only after the bombing raid. Alright, so we're going to have this happen here. I think we want to take out this tank. The British go there. And then maybe we will try to soften up Cherbourg a little bit. Taking a bit of a risk. There's 2 AA there, but if they can take care of that, that would be good. Alright, so these are 3s. So we'll start with Cherbourg. I think, yeah, that's terrible. That's a miss. And then down south here. Okay, so we do have a hit. So that tank goes away. But now the anti-aircraft get to fire. So the 2 up in Cherbourg. Uh-oh. And the mighty 8th just took a mighty hit. There goes the bomber for the game. That's not so good. And the British, oh boy, that was close. And we put the British back on the airfield. Alright. Now we have the Allies are going to move. And the Allies definitely have to take care of some problems here. So I think their best chance is to bulk up this zone right here. And that gives them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they can bring a tank in there for 7. And the rest of these guys are going to move into con. Those guys can't move. These guys can. And they have a bit of a choice. They can punch right towards Saint-Lô. It's easy. There's nothing in the way. And then all these guys will defend at a 2 instead of a 1. But he will also defend at a 2. But I think that's what they're going to do. Because then all the German infantry are attacking at a 1. Which might serve them better. Now we also have these folks here. And there's no point going into here to fight that bunker. So they're going to go there. And all these fellas. Now, don't know how many we're going to need. We're going to put that many that way. And then hopefully that'll be enough guys to absorb hits. That's 7 to 5. Got 2 3s on the first attack. Well, we'll see. Now there is a risk when you do this. We split our forces. There's a risk that the Germans could come out of Cherbourg. That would give them 3 1s and 2 2s versus 3 2s. So the math is with the Germans on doing some damage. They might not destroy them all, but they could do some damage and get into the tanks. But if they roll nothing, then when it's time for the Allies to move, they could bring these guys into here and really thump them. So the Germans may make them come up there and take 2 turns. So that's the game you got to play. Is how do you think they're going to work? So we're going to bring these guys down here like that. And that should be the way to go. Alright, and now we do the blockhouses firing, but of course they're all gone. And then the beachheads, the last units come on here. So again, there's some more Americans coming on. And now we're going to have the Allies attack and the Axis defend. Alright, so we only have 2 of those this round. We have this zone here and this zone here. So here we have 2 3s and 2 2s. This might not end well for the British, but we'll see. Hopefully they can roll a little better for themselves. Alright, so we have... Well, that's much better. Alright. Above the curve, so 3 hits, that's 3 men. So there are 5 2s and 2 3s for the Germans. We'll see how this goes. Yep, 2 hits. That's a couple of artillery, and those British tanks will no doubt die on the next round of combat because the Axis are going to be moving in a lot more stuff. So we'll see what they have left. So here's a British attack. This is the best we could muster that made any sort of sense. So we have a 2 versus a 3, and we can roll them at the same time. And there you go. So the British have lost that territory. And now we have, for the British, we have 4 1s, a 2, and 2 3s. So 4 1s, a 2, and 2 3s. We're going up against 5 3s. Need to get some hits, and they got 0 hits. Well, folks, at this point, if the Germans get 3 hits here, that's probably going to be close to being the game here on turn 6. Well, they got 4 hits. I don't really don't see the British being able to stand up to this anymore, but we'll see. Maybe the air power will do something. We'll see. That's a pretty ugly round for the Allies. Pretty ugly round. Now the Axis gets to move, and again, this is where the Germans can move just to stall, keep them back a turn, which is, you know, sometimes effective. And that's these 3 guys here. They're going to move into there. The reason we put 3 is because it's more, so even if these guys get lucky and get 2 hits, they won't kill them unless they bring in troops from this side. And if they do that, that just ties up these guys a little longer on the beach, because this is turn 6, so this would be turn 7, 8, 9. That's if they can just move up, which is pretty rare. So this, mathematically, it's looking really good for the Germans right now, but everything the Germans have is on the board. There's nothing else coming. And nothing else for the British either, mind you. All right. Well, what else are the Axis going to do here? I'm going to move these guys into there. And are they willing to lose stuff? Well, I think they are. Because they really... this side here looks like they're going to be able to contest Khan quite easily without too much difficulty. They're going to definitely destroy those two. Well, I shouldn't say definitely, but I'm pretty confident that they'll move that guy in there, get 3 hits. The fighters get to strafe this guy, so maybe he won't go in there. But pretty likely they're going to own that zone pretty soon and overwhelm the British. So I think these tanks here are going to... well, these men are going to move up here. I'm going to do that. And then take 1 tank up there. And these 2 tanks are just going to go to that zone there. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 24 dice at 1. Alright, so what I'll do is I've got 8 dice, I'll roll them 3 times, add up the pips, and then kill what needs to be killed. Okay? Because each plane gets a shot at each unit. Alright. Oh, there's 2. So that would be 2 infantry. Well, if they do that a couple more times... oh my goodness, they did it again. Okay. Well, the Germans have lost 4 units. Well, this is the last roll here. And just 1. Alright, so they didn't get into the armor, but boy, they killed 5 things. Alright, well, you see what happens when we speak too soon, right? All of a sudden it doesn't look quite as dire for the Allies over here. It still doesn't look good. But we'll see what happens. Alright, now we do our combat. So we'll start over here. We got 3 1s versus 2 2s. So we can roll those at the same time. You see how that speeds up the game, right? Oh, well, remember when I said they might get 2 hits? Well, they sure did. The Germans got nothing. Then over here, we've got 2 1s, 3 2s, and 3 3s. So 2 1s, 3 2s, and 3 3s. Alright. Oh, look at that. A lone British tank will survive. 2 2s coming back. Oh, oh, look at that. Wow, that really changed the board. The Allies finally had a really solid round of dice. But we'll see what happens here. They got 5 tanks. Hey, this guy didn't move. Was he gonna move? I think we decided to leave him there for some reason. Maybe it's to draw fighters away, I don't know. Alright, so here are 5 3s versus 2 2s. Alright, well, let's see what happens here. Oh my. Okay, well, this is why I don't gamble or do sports pools too much, because I rarely pick the right thing that's going to happen. Alright, so now it's time to do the reinforcements. And the Germans have none, of course, and the Americans are back to, they're down to their 4. So we're just going to roll the Americans and see. Okay, so the rest of them are coming in. And since it's easy to place, and I think we just need to put them all here. I think that's just the smart way to go. And then we move up. We're at turn 7 now on the chart. And then we're back to the start. And just because it's part of the game, we'll do it. But the blockhouses at this point really have no immediate effect. It's kind of like the real war. After they had gotten the beachheads and destroyed the blockhouses they needed to, they just let the other ones kind of die on the vine. Some of them they did take because they covered ports or harbors or something that they needed. But some of the other hard points, they just surrounded them and waited till the white flag went up. So, oh wow. Yeah, a little late, guys, but we'll take it. So 1, 2, 3 hits. All right, there you go. Now it's time to put the fighters on the board. Oh, we forgot to send the fighters back, so that's okay. So now real choice is going on here because the British and the Americans. I mean, who knows what happens in this fight, right? But there's a real good chance that these 2 British units are going to die, and then when these tanks come on to move into Caen, hopefully they'll be able to do some damage. So we're going to leave those fighters there, and these fighters are going to move to where these 2 tanks are, and maybe cause them a little bit of grief. And then there's no anti-aircraft going on. We only have 1 bomber left, and of course we'll take a shot at Buddy there. No. I tell you, it's like they're bombing from 20,000 feet or something and got a blurry sight. Alright. Here we go. Allies get to move. Alright. So they're going to move into there. This is a decision time. Do we go right into Saint-Lô? There are 8 units in Saint-Lô. So do we take turn 7 to kill that and move down? Or do we pop right in there right now and let the Germans bring in reinforcements? It's a tough question. But I think one thing we do want to do is get out of the range of this armor. It's probably going to kill that last remaining tank. So the Americans, I think, are going to come over here. That'll get them out of the range of the tanks anyway. Might give them a chance that way. And then we have these units are going to pop in there. And the British, well, the British. What's to be done with you? We'll send these 3 guys into here. That'll give you 5 in there versus the 5 tanks. We're going to bring that guy in there as well because we might as well use him in offense. That's 6, 7, 8. Now that leaves Caen pretty wide open. And so maybe we'll just do this. Give that a shot. See what happens. Best of luck. All that sort of thing. And the blockhouses fire, of course, they're done. And then the Americans come on to the beach there. And now we're going to fight. So, we'll start with the little ones here. So we've got 2 2s versus 1 more 2. So we can't roll them at the same time. So here's the Americans. Okay, so they got the German, and the German missed. Okay, so he's gone. And then we've got 4 1s, 3 2s, and a 3. And here we go. Alright. I was thinking, he's probably auto hit, but boy, the way these dice have been today. There's a German missed. Alright, so that's 2 freebies for the Allies. Maybe a little bit of foolhardy attacking by the Germans last round, but also some pretty good dice by the fighters, some pretty good strafing. And now we have the British tank gets a hit, but coming back are 3 2s and 3 3s. So, good luck there, Tommy. Nah, Tommy Tank is dead. Alright, so that goes that way. Alright. Got this one here. It's a 1 and a 2 versus a 3, so we can roll all of them at the same time. 1 and a 2 versus a 3. Hey, the 2 gets a hit. Tank is dead. And now we have 2 3s, 4 2s, and 2 1s. All right. So 2 3s. Getting a little ahead of myself there. 4 2s and 2 1s. Can they take care of some of this German armor? Well, they can. There's 3 of them. But the Germans punch back with 5. And 2 hits. Alright, well, Allies can afford that. There you go. 3 tanks, 2 Tommies. Still locked up there. Alright, so that's all the battling there. And now the Axis gets to move. Well, that's too much for those tanks to handle. But these tanks, I think they're going to move into con. And we're going to have these fellows move down into here. And these guys are definitely going to go tie up that American armor. And who knows, maybe they'll get some lucky hits. But if they can tie up that American armor, I think Saint-Lô will be all right. Con here looks kind of difficult, but these 2 tanks are going to try to get into con right now. So that's 6 white dice, because the Germans are thinking there's no way on earth those British will keep getting hits with those fighters. But it was the Americans who got the strafing hits, I believe, so see if the Brits can do any better. Well, they got 1 tank. 1 tank goes away. Alright. So that's all the Axis can do for moving. Alright. And now the Axis gets to attack. So we'll start here. We have 2 3s. And 2 hits. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got 2 hits there, and the British have 2, and then the 2 that died, and these 2. So they got 6 2s coming back. Oh, wow. Wow. That was intense. Okay, and here the Germans have what appears to be 4 1s and 4 2s versus 4 2s. So they definitely have numbers in their favor. They want to kill that American armor before it starts rolling 3s. And they will kill one of them. There's 4 2s coming back. And 2 hits. So 2 men. Alright, that's all the conflicts there. And then, of course, the reinforcements, but those are all gone. So just as a note here, we can go through and get rid of some of the cards now. We got rid of the reinforcements. Here's the other reinforcements we can get rid of. And we already got rid of course, the very first one, the airborne assault, and we're very close to getting rid of the blockhouses. There's only 1 left. So as soon as we get rid of that, they can't fire on the beaches, so we could get rid of that one as well. That's earlier on. Yeah, blockhouses fire to sea. The card number 9, that's gone. So the order cards start to speed up, and things speed up a little bit as you take some out. And as soon as we kill this last one here, you can take out this card. Okay, but we're up to turn 8. So there's only 3 turns left. It's going to be close. It's going to be very, very close. And that's why I love this game. You just never know. Unless the dice go exceedingly horribly for the entire time, things tend to turn out fairly even. It's usually just one city that's contested by the end. And there we go. The last blockhouse goes bye-bye. And now on to putting the fighters on. Well, we never took them off. Now, these tanks aren't going anywhere. They're in con. They're where they need to be. And the only people or things that are possibly could move would be these guys here. So we're going to throw all them in there. They're going to get shot at right now. But there's really nobody else moving for the British. Nothing for them to worry about. And and they'll definitely be moving into con this round, hoping to take out those last 4 tanks. I guess it's possible these fellas here could kill these American tanks during the American attack, and then when they go to leave they'll be strafed. That's about the best we can do. Alright, and then we do the shooting at them. So there's 4 dice there, 4 ones. Any more? No, those didn't die. And then over here we got 3 more dice. And no more. Alright, so anti-aircraft fire is ineffectual. Well, let's be honest, they got all their 88s pointed at the Allied armor anyway. So we got a bomber coming in, and the nice thing is that there's nobody in con right now. There's no Allied forces, so the bomber is going to try to kill one of those tanks. Finally, the bomber gets a hit for those guys. We're going to take out that odd duck tank. He's gone. Well, it'll be an interesting finish, folks. If you've been watching the whole time, I appreciate it. Alright, now it's time for the Allies to move. Well, let's see if we can get some support in here. Might be able to make things happen. We definitely want to use the tank in the attack. So, and we want to make this attack as strong as we possibly can. So hopefully kill as much as we can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this very round. And probably want to have some fodder in case the Germans get a little lucky with those. And then we're going to bring these guys here, because that way they can come here if they need to, go there. And then when these try to leave, the fighters hopefully will kill some of them. And then in comes the Americans into Cherbourg. Alright. And here come the Brits with their last 6 units, trying desperately to take con from the 3 Panzer divisions or whatever are in there right now. Bad news. Alright. And of course nobody's on the beaches anymore, so that beach landing box or card could go, so we're going to take that out of there. And then we do a round of attacking. Well, let's start with con, because I think as this battle goes, so goes the war. There are only 2 turns left, and so the German, even if these guys decide to come to con, they can only move turn 8, turn 9. Well, I guess by turn 10 they could get there, so it is possible, but we'll see what happens here. We have 2 3s, 3 2s, and a 1. Alright. So 2 3s, 3 2s, and a 1. Boy, if the Brits ever needed hits, it's right now in con. Oh, look at that. Never before in the history of warfare has such dice rolling been rolled. That's my Howard Cosell, in case you couldn't tell. Oh, but the Germans aren't about to go away lightly. They take out 3 units. So it ain't over. It ain't over. But Caen is the first city to fall. Fairly typical. Not usually in round 8 though. It's usually done by now, but the Germans did a lot of reinforcing here in the east. They focused a lot of stuff there. Alright, coming over here. Now we have the battle for Saint-Lô. We have a 3, a 1, and 6 2s. A 3, a 1, and 6 2s. Here we go. 3 hits, that's respectable. So the Germans have 7 2s and a 3. So just 1 pip better than the Americans. Let's see if they can get 3 hits or better. Oh boy. Not good for the Germans at all. Alright. There we go. And then we have a fight here. So we've got 2 3s, 2 1s, and 2 2s. Fairly balanced attack. Alright, so we have 6 dice versus 6 dice here. Oh, look at this. This is all about the American resupply and all that, isn't it? That's what's going on here. So there are 4 more dead Germans, but they get 6 dice back. And here we go. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, Cherbourg, will you continue to tell an allied story here, or will things be rewritten? So we got 4 1s, a 2, and 2 3s. 4 1s, a 2, and 2 3s. Just 2 hits. There are 5 2s coming back. Ooh, 2 hits. All right, there we go. That's all the battling this round. And now the axis gets to move. Well, the only axis that can move are these fellas here. And if they move, they're going to get strafed by 4 fighters. So we have 5 units in there, and we're going to try, and you're supposed to move one at a time and have them all shoot, move one at a time and have them all shoot until you get in there. So since that's an issue now, that's how we're going to do it. So we're going to have 4 dice at the first artillery. He dies. 4 dice at the next artillery. He's okay. Next artillery. Okay, and the man. Okay. So just 1 arty dies, and the other 3 units make it into Saint-Lô. There we go, and that's the only ones that can move. These ones are locked in mortal combat, as are these ones up here. So we'll start with Cherbourg. If these 3 units die, that'll be the second city to fall. So they have a 1 and 2 2s. Okay, not going quietly. Got 1 kill versus 5 2s. No kills. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did not expect that. Alright. Now up here we got 2 2s. Oh boy. Alright. And that's versus 6 2s. Americans need some hits here. Haven't gotten any hits. Oh, there we go. That takes care of them, which will free up the Americans to move in round 9 and then round 10. So, looking a little better now. Looking a little better, got to admit. And this is the last one. So we have 5 2s, 2 1s, and a 3. One hit. Alright, so the Americans have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2s. 6 2s. One hit. Alright. That is all. And the fighters go back. Alright. Well, we're on to round 9. The first one is the blockhouses, so we can throw that naval bombardment card out. We got the put the fighters on, but there really is no reason to put the fighters on because there's no way on earth these Germans are leaving these towns. That's just utter suicide for them. So we can throw the fighter card away, and then the anti-aircraft isn't going anywhere. The bomber strike can only hit where there are not conflicted territories, so we can't use that. So the next card goes away, and place the bombers on the airfield goes away, and we're on to the Allies' move. Well, we only have 2 turns left, so we've got to be smart about this. And knowing that the Germans are stuck here and there's nobody over here, these British tanks are going to go 1, 2. Alright, that's about as good as they can do. To get close, we can do this for show, but it's not. I think actually we got to hold a guy in there to hold the city. I'll have to look at that. I haven't seen that rule for a long time. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so we can bring in 2 more. And because we have a lot of casualties there, we're going to bring in the tanks. They're going to go 1, 2 right into there. And that'll give us our 8 units. And these 2 fellows are going to come here. Go away, fighter. And hopefully these 4 can kill these 3. That is going to be very interesting. I think that's going to end up being the battle, which is oddly, it's just odd. Yeah, and we can't even use the tanks that were here to come up because they wouldn't reach it in time. So, will be interesting. Okay. And then we're going to do a round of combat. So we have 3 tanks, 5 of them. So 3 green and 5 arty, 5 blue. They only need 7 hits. I'm sure they won't get 7. They got 2. So that's a man. Arty. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blues and 1 green for the tank. And 2 hits for them. That's 2 artillery. This is the one. So we got 3 2s, a 2, and a 1. Or sorry, two 3s, a 2, and a 1. 2 3s, a 2, and a 1. Gotta have it right now. Can't mess around. Uh-oh. Single solitary hit and 3 2s coming back. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're gonna that's gonna be an interesting battle. Alright, and then oh, we've already done that one. Alright, that's all done. Move, 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 move. Alright. Now the Axis gets to move, but of course they can't. They're locked in. But we'll keep the card there just in case the Axis wins and feels like moving for some reason. And now the Axis gets to attack. So sometimes this isn't a good thing, as we've seen. You know, you get attacked, you're down to just a few, and then you have to attack again, and you don't have much left. So the Germans are here. They've got a 3 and 4 2s. So 3 and 4 2s. Well, they got 2 hits, keeping it respectable. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2s coming back. And just 1 hit. There we go. Alright, this is the one. It's the one you've all been waiting for. 2 2s versus 2 2s. German artillery, the 88s, have the Shermans lined up and get one of them. But were they fast enough, or did the Shermans sneak in behind? No, they were fast. Well, that's not looking good now for the Americans. Not looking good at all. Alright, so that is the combat. Fighters we're not using, go back. So at the end here, we are actually down to just 3 cards, really. Actually, we're essentially down to 3 cards. The Allies get to move, the Allies attack, then the Axis attacks. So we are just going to do the best we can to capture this area here. We can't combine, if memory serves, we can't combine the ground units together. So, I'm just going to look that up again though, because I want to make sure I do that right. It's been a long time since this has come up. Just a second. Okay, apparently I was mistaken about that. You can share zones. It's been a long time since I've actually gotten the joy to play this. So I must be thinking of a different World War II game. And it was definitely set in Normandy. So we're going to move those 2 tanks in there. That gives us a total of 6. And then we'll bring in 2 more artillery. 7, 8. Nothing to do up there. Yeah. Move him back into con. I don't know how he got out of there. Alright, so here we go. This is turn 9 now. Or is this turn 10? I think it's turn 10. Alright, here we go. I have 1 cycle of combat. So we have 5 3s and 3 2s. Well, if they ever had a chance to take out the last little bit of German resistance in Saint-Lô, this is it. Oi! That's not good. The Germans reply. Oh my goodness. I don't know what's going on, folks. There are hits. There are hits on these, in case you're wondering. There are hits. They do exist. They're just not showing up on that one. All right. Well, here we go. We've got a 3 versus 2 2s. Well, here we go. Roll them all at the same time. All right. Well, looks like the game is over then. There's nothing that can be done. The Americans can't get up there in time to win it, but we'll carry on with the Saint-Lô battle just to see what happens. So now the Germans get to counterattack. They get a 3 and 3 2s. Oh, they missed. And then there are yep, and then they get to counterattack with 8. I thought, how come the Allies still have 8? And it's right, oh yeah, because the Germans laid an egg on that last roll too. So here we go. So there's 8 coming back. Oh yeah, where were you in Cherbourg? So all these fellas go. And there it is. There's the bone pile. All right, so there you have it, folks. Even if it were turn 9, I honestly can't remember if I move the marker. They can't get to Cherbourg in time. It's 1. Okay, so it's 1 there, 2 there. So it'd be 3 more turns to even fight for Cherbourg, and they wouldn't be able to get up there in time. So the Germans win this one by contesting the mighty port city of Cherbourg. And the Allies really took it on the chin here, though. Cherbourg looked like a done deal. Maybe we should have sent a couple more units up there, huh, in hindsight, because we still have lots here. Caen, we fought pretty perfectly, I think. We ended up with just 3 units at the end. We had, you know, those 3 were at the end, so that, I think, was done very well. But maybe we sent a little bit too much stuff south. Maybe that last landing, instead of coming here and worrying about that, should have gone here. But then maybe we wouldn't have been able to take care of those 88s that were there. Who knows, right? You just don't know. But congratulations to the Germans, and hopefully the Allies learned a thing or two here about strategy, and are able to employ maybe some more novel ideas on the next round. But thank you so much for watching. And I really appreciate the support here on the channel. I know it's been a little slow going recently. Hoping to pick it up a little bit. I have moved around a few things in my life. And although I'm going to be coaching basketball here pretty soon, high school basketball, other things I've put on the back burner that were taking up a lot of my time. And not going to worry about it too much. But this weekend I do have the launch party for the TV show I wrote, and we shot the teaser trailer for, the sizzle reel as they call it. We shot that this summer, and we're going to be having a party in Vancouver this weekend, launch party, premiere party, and so that's taken up quite a bit of my time recently as well, for obvious reasons. But once we get settled into that and writing up everything we need to write up for the TV show and then off to sell it. Hopefully that won't take quite as much time, but who knows? We'll see. I really want to do some more gameplay videos where I'm not just by myself. So hopefully people can get free. A lot of the people I used to play with got jobs on weekends. And my son, he does a lot of other things now that he doesn't have time for a sit-down game like this because he's got his own job now. So as we know, people come and go. I'm going to try to build up another Axis and Allies gaming group around here, and maybe get some of the old ones back. Haven't seen some of the guys for a while. Maybe that happens for you too. Maybe in the comments below, tell me, what do you do when maybe the 3 or 4 guys you always get together with move away, or maybe they have some kids, or get a different job, or get married, and all of a sudden their time isn't what it was. Maybe for you, maybe you have some kids, or maybe you move to a new location. What are some strategies you use to maybe build up your group again? There might be the obvious ones of just throwing something out on a Craigslist ad, or something on Facebook, or who knows. But is there anything else that you do in order to maybe increase the exposure of this game, and not D-Day in particular, but Axis and Allies and the historical board gaming games that we all love so much. Maybe throw some ideas in the comments there and help out other people who might be starting up a group. And let's just keep growing this game together. And don't forget, folks, really have a great time with your friends. Make sure you hug your loved ones. Let them know just how precious they are to you. And may those dice be with you.